Welcome back to InstaPhippsyFishing. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a DIY bump board or fish ruler for your boat. I started off this project with a 4-inch PVC sewer drain. There were 4 or 5 pieces of sewer drain under the cottage that my dad used to use as boat rollers. So you just lift up one end of the boat, throw it under, and then you can pull the boat easily into the water. So I found the one that looked the best, looked the cleanest, and was the appropriate length. It was just shy of 48 inches. The very first thing that I did was I cleaned the pipe the best that I could. I used a pressure washer and just hosed out the inside and cleaned off the outside. Then I used a cloth with a little bit of dish Dawn soap just to clean off any dirt that I could. Then after that, the ends weren't perfectly square. Yeah, you can kind of see that there. This is what the one end piece looked like, just completely lopsided. So what I did is I used a chop saw and I just cut off this end as close to the first imperfection as I could. So then this gave me a nice even side to start with to measure from. So I just cut off that piece there. Then I got a measuring tape and I measured the pipe to exactly 40 inches. Again, the other end wasn't perfect either, so I wanted that end cut off as well. But now that I had a nice straight edge to start from, I measured out the 40 inches. Then I used the chop saw or miter saw again to cut the PVC pipe at exactly 40 inches. So once the imperfect ends were cut off and the PVC was exactly 40 inches, I was left with my nice clean 40-inch PVC sewer drain pipe. So at that stage, I then went to Home Depot and I bought a 4-inch sewer drain pipe cap to put on, and that was about $5 at Home Depot. Then I used a little bit of sandpaper and I sanded the edges of the pipe. That just helps the PVC cement stick a little bit better. Then we're gonna put the sewer drain cap on just to see how deep that it goes now that it's sanded down. So just push it on all the way. Then I'm just gonna trace a light line all the way around. Then you can take it off, and that way you know how far to go with the PVC cement. So you just want to stay in the lines. That way there's not a bunch of excess that squeezes out or drips down. It'll just look a lot nicer that way. The most expensive part of the project was the PVC cement itself. So you just open the PVC cement. You want to stir it a little. Gonna carry it over a paper towel just in case it drips a bit. I went with clear so it won't be as noticeable if I do have any drips or anything like that. And then you just want to apply a thin coat all the way around. I'm not getting right to the line because when I put the cap on, it will drip down a bit anyways. And then we put our cap on snug. Gonna bang it on the ground to make sure it's all the way in there. Pretty sure it dries fairly quickly. Make sure you put your lid back on the PVC cement. So now I had a 40-inch PVC pipe with a cap on it. To make sure that my 3 cuts are gonna be exactly even, I first measured the circumference of the pipe, and it comes to 13¼ inches. So 13.25 inches. Then I laid out a piece of painter's tape flat on a table. This piece is a little short, but basically what I did is I measured it to 13¼ inches, got my calculator, divided that by 3, and it was 4.417 inches. So just shy of 4.5 inches. So I just made a mark just shy of 4.5 inches here. Then I slid it down, did almost 4.5 inches here. And then at just before 4.5 inches here, I cut the tape. So it would end right there. Then I used a square to make sure that my lines were straight. And then when I wrapped this piece of tape around the pipe, we had our one line here, and then just shy of 4.5 inches, our next line, and then just shy of 4.5 inches, it's where the tape met. So I just put a 3rd line there. I figured that was the easiest way to make those 3 sections the exact same. rather than trying to measure around the pipe and make the lines there, I figured laying out the piece of tape would just make life a lot easier. Once I had that marked out, I brought it to my brother-in-law's place to use his table saw. He ended up making the cuts for me. We measured the diameter of the PVC pipe, which it's a 4-inch hole, but then there's a little bit of PVC obviously on the outsides. So it ended up being 4 1/4 inches in diameter. So we just divided that by 2, which brought us to 2 1/8 of an inch. So we knew that that's where we wanted to set the table saw blade to cut right into the middle of the PVC pipe. So once we set the table saw to 2 1/8 of an inch away from the guide wall, or whatever that thing is called, we knew that's how far the center of the pipe was from the edge that was going along the guide. That way we cut right into the center of the pipe. And then we also needed to set the height of the blade from the table to 2 1/8 of an inch as well, because we had that PVC cap on, because we wanted to make as even as cuts as we could to make 3 of the exact same bump boards. So I only have 1 sticker, but this way if I break one or it warps in the sun or something happens to it, you know, I lose it, I have 2 others and all I have to do is order the sticker. So if the blade of the table saw was too high, it wouldn't have cut these perfect triangles, it would have cut into the other ones. And if it was too low, then we would have to use a different saw to make the remaining cuts. So we set the table saw 2 1/8 of an inch away from the guard and 2 1/8 of an inch high from the table. So then we just ran this through the table saw and made those 3 cuts on the 3 lines that we had measured out. And we ended up with 3 of the exact same size bump boards. As I said, I only have stickers for 1, but now I have these other 2 as spares if something does happen to my one good one here. The reason I put the drain cap on is so that there's a place to put the fish's nose there. And then the benefit of using a PVC pipe is that it's concave, so it'll actually kind of hold the fish in there better. So I can just set the fish down, slide its nose against the end there, and get an accurate reading. So now that it's in 3 pieces, we used a table saw, so the edges are a little bit rough. I'm just going to use a sander to sand down those edges and make them nice and smooth. Then once this was sanded, I wiped it down with a dry towel just to get any of the bits of PVC that was floating around off of it so that the sticker would stick nicely. So just wiped it completely clean. That way there wasn't anything behind the sticker. So I ordered this Rapala 36-inch ruler just off Amazon. It was just $4.99. So as you can see, there's about an inch here at the start. So I'm just going to use this utility knife and I'm going to cut right at the 0-inch mark there using a carpenter's square just to make a nice straight line. So I'm just going to line it up right that and then just cut along there. So I just cut off that little starting piece. So then the ruler will start right at the 0 mark there. So now we're just going to put our 36-inch Rapala sticker down onto the PVC pipe. So we're just going to make sure that it is snug against the lip on this end. And then a little trick that I saw is you can tape down somewhere in the middle so that it kind of holds it steady. Because if you take the backing off and try and lay it out like this, it can go a little bit off center. And you just want it to look as nice as possible and stay as centered as possible. So if you tape down the middle, that will keep it in place and then it just makes it a lot easier to lay that down. So I'm just going to add a little bit of masking tape right to the middle. And it obviously helps if you have a second person with you just to kind of hold it steady. And then I'm also going to have a second person help me apply the sticker to the PVC. Okay, so now that we have it taped down right in the middle, we're going to lift this section up and we're going to peel the backing sticker off. And we're going to peel it off until we get some resistance near that tape there. And then we're going to cut the backing off. And then we can start laying the sticker down from the middle. So we're just going to go slow. You can just press in the middle and just kind of work out any bubbles as you go. Again, it's way easier if you have two people. So all I'm doing is holding it kind of out on an angle like this. You don't want to hold it too high up in the air or else it could leave some wrinkles. And then we're just going slowly along, making it as nice as possible. It doesn't really matter if it's perfect, but the better it looks, the more I'll enjoy it. And then obviously another part that you just have to really focus on is where this sticker was bent. It comes folded, so there's just a bit of a crease there in the sticker, and then we just want to work it out the best we can so that it doesn't leave a mark there. Seems like it's going pretty well. So there we go, got the 0 right to here. I'm also going to add a black line right at the 0 there, just so it's easier to see in videos and pictures. So that's where the fish's nose will go against, and I'll probably put a sticker there, again, just so you can see where the fish's nose touches. So that is the first half done. So the sticker starts here and goes there. And then for the second half, we're just gonna take this tape off and then work our way out that way to the end. And then we're just going to peel the rest of the backing off from where we left off there. So just make sure you're taking your time when you do this part, because you don't want to see a bunch of bubbles there or anything like that. So it seems to go best when you hold this far end down low, and then the other person or whoever's putting the sticker on kind of presses from the middle first and then works their way out to the edges. So the sticker is on, looks pretty good. And then I cut the PVC pipe to 40 inches. So with a Sharpie, first I'm just gonna measure out all the way to 40 inches here. And then with a Sharpie, we're gonna mark 37, 38, 39, and 40 just ourselves. The 36-inch sticker was the only one that they have. So as I mentioned, I cut the PVC pipe to 40 inches exactly, and the ruler goes to 36 inches. So I'm just gonna mark 37, 38, and 39 as well. I haven't caught a fish over 36 inches in a long, long time, but just in case I do, it'll be good to have some extra inches marked on there. And then if I catch a fish over 40 inches, I can just use some other measuring device to get the extra inches after 40. I was trying to figure out how to make a nice straight line on this curved PVC pipe. And the best thing I could come up with is this is the deformed starting piece that I had cut off, but this side is the nice clean cut. So I'm just gonna kind of trace along that nice straight edge there. So that's 37, 38, 39, and then the end piece is 40. And then for writing the numbers, I think I will just try and line it up the best I can with the numbers that we're going there. Doesn't look amazing, but it's still functional. And it gives me 4 extra inches there from where the ruler stops. So that's what the back side looks like. That is the cap there, and then just the PVC pipe there. This is the finished product. As I showed, I just made a black line there so it's easier to see where the fish's head is against. I left that little lip there so that you can press the nose of the fish against that. And it's concave, so the fish will sit in there nicely. So hopefully that was a nice, easy project for you guys. This whole project ended up costing me $20, $10 for the PVC cement, $5 for the drain cap, and $5 for the sticker from Amazon. So for $20, I basically have 3 bump boards. I would have to order 2 more stickers, so let's call it $30. So you can make 3 of these for $10 each. Give one to your buddies, or keep one in your kayak, one in your boat, or just keep them as spares. But hopefully that helped you guys out. Just a nice, easy way to have a light, cheap bump board for you guys to use to measure your fish. Hope that was super helpful. Make sure you guys stay tuned. It is Tuesday right now, and Friday morning, pike and walleye opens in my fisheries management zone in Ontario. I'm gonna be starting my pike tournament Friday early morning. I'm gonna wake up before the sun, get out there in my kayak and see if I can catch some pike. It is a CPR tournament, catch, photo, release. So make sure you stay tuned for that video because that should be the next one coming out. And hopefully I have lots of big long pike to show you guys.